Well, very good morning to you, Hus, and welcome to our Facebook chat with elite clients. Thank you very much for joining me. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, good, Ryan. Good to be on board, and thanks for having us. Yeah,
No
really
problem,
good.
mate. And you got the kids off to school nice and early this morning, so
Yeah,
that went
dropped
well.
them off to school and came into the office to do this.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Well, thanks very much for joining us. So, what a great career you've had, Hasi. With how long have you been in the business now?
So I started in 2005, and Ravi's not here, but obviously we're a team, and he started in 2006.
So 14, 15 years between you.
Yes, yep.
And how long have you been running the Team Spicy? How long has that been running for?
Team
Since then?
Spicy, yeah, since about end of 2006.
So tell us a little bit about that, because that's been very iconic here in the West. And, everybody knows you guys as Team Spicy, and it goes with your culture and your demographic. Just give us a little bit of an insight into that branding.
So when I first started real estate, right now, I came straight out of uni with a marketing degree, and I went to primary school in Beckenham. That's where my core area is. So I remember and then going to school and learning in that sort of environment. I got a little bit bullied back in the day, saying, you're a curry muncher. Then I learned that everybody likes curry. So when I started real estate in that demographic, I thought, what can I do to make sort of fun of myself before someone else can do it? So then I came up with Experience a Spicy Difference. And then Ravi came on board in 2006 or later 2006. Then we started calling ourselves Team Spicy with the chili. And then, yeah, that's how it started.
And that's amazing. And I've seen your gifts over the years. You actually give out chili, chili stuffed toys and curry, and you guys really get into that. And I just think that that's an amazing, it's an amazing exposure and branding, because how can you forget it? And you're right. I mean, Indian food is kind of my favorite. So
Yeah.
I know we've swapped recipes over the years, and I just want to say huge kudos to you, because people like it when you go on the front foot with something like that. So well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So 15 years, mate. That's and you've seen some massive highs and massive lows. So your best year, 2013. What did you write there?
Ravine and I did just around 1.5.
So that's your best year. So that's a huge number. And let me just
Best
share
year,
with you.
and that year we came fourth for the state. So we've been coming in the top 10 most years since around 2009. Our best year was 2013. We came fourth for the state.
That's huge. And I mean, let's just put this into perspective for the viewers. What's your price point?
So we're around 250,000 to 350,000 is our price point. So we get excited if we get something for about 500.
How many properties would you have sold in 2013 financial year, approximately?
About 140.
Say again?
About 140.
140 sales. So, geez, you guys would have been busy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that year was a good year.
Amazing. Yeah. Look, obviously I've groomed in that and cut my teeth in that kind of demographic, probably just a little bit higher, sort of 350 to 500. And we were running like headless chooks. So I can just imagine the 15 years of real estate that you've actually had. But obviously you have seen some highs and lows, because you've been with Real Estate Brilliance now for on and off for three years, I think.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. Yep.
You did various programs of mine. You did the Enrich Mentoring program. You jumped onto Real Estate Brilliance, and you're now an elite member with that. So big thanks and huge hat off to you for that. And I think for the viewers, let's just sort of pause there, because after 15 years of experience writing $1.5 million, what made you join my program and seek out a coach?
I think with every career you go up and then you go down, and the thing that happened to us is we got complacent. There was no one in the background to say, okay, look, go back to the basics and do the calls, do the nurturing calls, have a system in place, do the letter drops, follow up your past clients. And I think we let that go, because you become, you think that you're actually good when you're not. and you become a bubble inside yourself, but then someone needs to sort of bring you back to the ground and say, look, boys, you've got to start doing this. And that's what you did for us.
And you're absolutely spot on. And let me just get that out of the woods, mate. You are bloody good, because your numbers and your stats and the job that you do and how you're respected in your area is superb. So I want to clear the air there, mate. You are damn good, and Team Spicy is awesome. But let's just focus in on that sort of curve that does tend to happen in real estate, and it does tend to happen kind of between that 10 and 15 year mark. I've seen that with dozens and dozens of agents where for the first sort of 7 to 8 years you're just going hammer and tong, and then you get to success, and then you tend to plateau, and then sometimes you go down the other side, and if you don't correct it, which causes another curve upwards, a lot of people do suffer. So there's actually a known sort of psychology for this. It's called the sigmoid curve, and that's exactly what you had experienced. So let's talk about some of the things that you did to recover over the last 3 years with Real Estate Brilliance, because you made some massive changes, didn't you?
Yeah, so we always had a buyer manager, but then we let that go. And then since we met you, you helped us find someone that was the perfect fit for Team Spicy. Actually, he's a spicy man himself. So Darren, especially when in the early days, we weren't married. I was single. We used to, have a big night, come straight into the office, work our bums off, till about 11, 11 o'clock, have beers, go back home. We had the time, but now it's a total different ball game. You got 2 kids. Renee's got 2 kids. To have that time with your family was very important. I think that's where the love for the real estate was lost. It was just became a job. It wasn't there was no passion there. But putting that in place and having more time to spend with the family, that brought the love back for both of us. Now we can take time off, spend time with the kids, with the wife. We spend Sundays at home now. So Darren, he does the opens on Sundays. So that was one big thing. And the other thing is, you got us to make calls again. This is my book. So these are the calls I've been making.
Just bring it closer to the camera, just so the guys can see it. So copious amounts of phone calls.
Yep, phone calls. So my goal now is to make 100. Now that did go down in that COVID scenario. We'll get back to that in a minute, because it's all about the mindset as well. Now, having someone like you on board and listening to you and seeing what you guys do, and obviously having that team around, seeing Matt Seabrook and see what the boys are doing, sort of gets you going. So now again, I get up at 4:30, do my goals, write what am I appreciated for, and that sets the day up going forward. Because having the business itself, especially with staff cut downs and all that pressures, it does take a toll on you. So the mental side of it, having someone in the background and having the team, it really does help you to see things for what they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, mate. And absolute music to my ears, because you mentioned a lot of things there that obviously with Real Estate Brilliance, we've got absolutely deep seated in our culture and in our DNA, which is obviously the phone calls. But it's not just about phone calls. It's about leveraging the support, having lifestyle, the influence of the people around you, and letting everybody motivate each other, and without browbeating and trying to motivate people, because we know that you can't motivate people. You can encourage people to motivate themselves, but it's very difficult to motivate people. So you've done that with great success, and we all experience highs and lows in the business. But let's talk about, and it's great, because I remember when you came to me after that high of 1.5 million, and then obviously the market sort of mining collapsed, and things were starting to get really, really tough. And when all those sales started thinning out, I think your biggest sort of realization was, holy crap, we can sell, we can list, we can do all of that when things are happening, but we don't have any systems and structures to back it up. And that's where Real Estate Brilliance, I think, filled those gaps. And we wanted to give you guys a break, because you guys hadn't had much of a break. You'd had 2 kids, and Yeah, so I think that's great that you mentioned that. Now let's talk about COVID, mate. Have you sort of done in the last sort of 2 to 3 months?
Yeah, the COVID, obviously it's a spanner in the world. For us at Porter Matthews, obviously the sales in the first few weeks, it got dramatically affected. I think more than the COVID itself, Ryan, it was the mindset. So as soon as it happened, we got told to go home. We literally went home, and this book wasn't opened. It was just put down, and the phone calls didn't get made. I wasn't waking up early. I started drinking because there's nothing to do. We got on Zoom, all our friends just start drinking a bottle a day, and it was fun at the time, but at the same time, it was taking a toll on your health as well. So, but then again, obviously, we said, okay, so that's not going to work. So now we started getting up early, going for runs, more positive, and the business straight away started to pick up. So, and if you look at the Riva stats, the properties are still selling. So I think the COVID's there, but more so, it was a mental shift that we had to make. Say, okay, COVID's COVID, but people are still buying and selling real estate, and we just got to be there to help them make it happen. It was stressful because people couldn't come into work. We had to put systems and procedures in place. And obviously with the slowdown in the market itself, we had to cut some hours of staff here, and which was very stressful at the time. Still stressful because we're a big part of a family. But now obviously with things coming back to a normal per se, people are more positive, and definitely there's a buzz in the marketplace, which is good.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think that first couple of weeks or maybe a month, I think it wasn't only you. I think shock set in, and people were just it was unprecedented. We had no idea what we should do, and obviously as a coach, I had to kick in very very quickly to try and get people to focus on something and move them forward. So it wasn't just you. It was all of us and everyone who was just in that dumbfounded space going, what the hell do we do here? But as things changed, as we kind of got used to it, we started kicking on. So well done in that, mate. And you ended up making how many sales in April?
April, we made 4 sales.
4 sales. So that's pretty respectable. I mean, how many sales do you guys make on average?
We average between
7 or 8?
Yeah, between 7 to 9 sales we do. So,
okay, a month, yeah. So that was reasonably respectable thinking about it, but it didn't happen without you guys going out and doing something. Am I right?
No, that's the thing. So I can really point out that the date, it was the 17th. We sort of, David's our business partner, David, myself, we sort of got together and said, okay, it's not working. We've got to get our bumps into gear. And from 17 to the end of the month, we made, I think, 11 or I think 12 or 13 sales as a collective. And that was just a shift in the mind. Before that, it was just nothing was happening.
Yep, beautiful. Well, thanks for sharing that, mate. That's really powerful, and I think we can all really relate to that. Absolutely. Now, just before we move on to the next sort of topic, you're a principal as well. So what we've already spoken about is just kind of one-dimensional with your real estate sales business with you and Ravine and as Team Spicy, but you've had an added pressure of how many rentals do you guys have?
Just under 430.
So 400 rentals. How many staff members do you have?
15.
15 staff members, and you guys have got quite a big building which you own. So there's a lot of other added pressures there for you guys as well through this difficult time. How did you cope with that?
Again, the team's been really good. So the people around us, they're actually putting extra work. They're working from home. So we've got a really, really good team around us. And David's, he's the main man, you call it. So lucky for us, he takes a lot of the burden of managing the business itself. So Ruby and I can concentrate on selling, but that doesn't mean we're out of it. We still come here. We've met most days. We did the Zoom calls. We came into the office. The 3 of us just planned everything. So that was a big thing. But it was pretty hard just the first instance just to get a plan going forward. And
Yeah.
with people emailing saying they can't pay their rent, they lost their jobs, and then going back to the owners, as most of the owners are our clients, just telling them, look, this is what your options are, going and then changing laws just to go with it. So yeah, it wasn't easy, but we're getting there.
Yeah, great. And I mean, someone is saying I'm actually absolutely creaming it at the moment. I mean, there is one or two people who are doing that, but I think it's just by sheer hard work prior to this that they've got 2 or 3 times the stock that they'd normally have.
Yes.
So I think the reality is that most people are down by 50%, 25, 30%, some people 80%, depending on your stock levels. But I think you guys have done an amazing job to keep things going. And I know you've got a fantastic team there on administration, property management. I know you and David and Ravine. So there's 3 partners, right?
3, yes. Yeah.
3 partners. So I think that's when a partnership really, really, adds value, I suppose, in times like this, or when you want to have a break. Business partners can be very valuable. Whereas if you were running it on your own, how difficult would that be?
Oh, it would have been, because there's no one to talk to. It's being in a relationship. When you talk to your business partners more than sometimes you speak to your wife. I mean, my wife would actually say that's true. So
work wives,
yeah,
work wives and husbands.
Yeah, so you're just talking to them constantly. So your pressure goes off, and if you're feeling down, the voice just picks you up. And if they're feeling down, you've got to be there to pick them up and just keep on going. And this month, what we did was we started hitting the calls again, just following up. And the thing is, Ryan, some of the properties that we didn't follow up actually have listed and sold. And you know how that feeling is. But then this month we've listed 6 or 7 already. So there's a few more in the pipeline that's coming. So hopefully we'll get to 10. So yeah, it's just, again, just a shift in the mindset.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. And it's just about keep on keeping on, isn't it?
Yes. And we cut down on the alcohol, just a couple of bottles.
Oh, well, that's good, mate. That's you've got to follow in my footsteps, mate, and give it up forever. I'm only joking. No, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So very quickly, mate, because I don't want to take up a lot of your time. You've had a great career. You've certainly seen some ups and downs. You've gone from rookie to business owner to sales champion, and a big hat off and congratulations from us. What advice would you give, or what would you say to real estate agents out there, not only in times like this, but I suppose to have had a career like you've had? What advice would you give?
I think number one, I still remember I met Alan Burke, a good friend of David's, when I first started, and he said list and last. And obviously that's just the saying in real estate, I find, which we know now, but he's the one that told me, and he won't remember, but I think that's the name of the game. COVID, no COVID, whatever it is, if we've got the stock that the clients are asking, you'll still survive. So I think then that comes back down to prospecting, which we just got to do, just double the amount of prospecting what we're doing. So that's what we're doing now. So especially if you're starting out, it's just got to hit the phone calls. Nowadays you can't go and door knock. So, and then having those systems in place, like, the letter drops are constantly going out, the client nurturing calls are happening. So obviously, with your system, that happens automatically now without us doing anything. But obviously picking up the phone, just getting in touch with your clients, I think that's the advice that I can give. That's what we're doing anyhow.
Absolutely, mate. Well done. And you mentioned a few things there that I want to just highlight. So a system, you guys now have a system that's automated. It goes out without you guys even thinking about, which gives you guys peace of mind and confidence that people are seeing you without you having to bloody get around every person in your area once a month. Your automated multi-layered prospecting system is doing that for you. But just a question, Hus, because you and I have had this debate, not a debate, but we've been really working closely together over the last 3 years. Does anything replace the phone calls?
Well, nothing, no. That's belly to belly.
Got to pick up the phone, right? No matter how much marketing you've got going out there, you've got to pick up the phone.
And these days, the quality of the conversations are a lot deep and meaningful than before. People actually take the time to speak to you, ask about family, and just really just that touch point it's a lot more quality than before you ring up and say, hey, Ryan, how you going? It's done and dusted. But these days it's 2, 3, 4 minute phone call just about what's going on. And people are happy to hear from someone different as well.
And they love to chat, and it's making that connection, because you've got to show that you care. You've got to, and you know, how nice is it to write something down, and next time you speak to them, you mention what you spoke about the last time, and it's magic, isn't it?
And what I did was, obviously, sometimes when you don't call people, like, you just get off the phone. It's a habit, right? If you haven't picked up the phone for like 2 or 3 weeks when we were drinking. So what I did, it's really, sometimes you get that bit of nervousness. So what I always do is I pick up, and we got around 1,400 clients now, which we sold to in the last 14 years. So what I do is I go back through my phone and I rang everybody that loves us, that knows Raveen, knows me. We've been to their kids' birthday parties. So they're like our family and friends. So I'll go through them first. So you get the confidence built up. Then you slowly work your way back to the guys that you haven't spoken to. Then you're in the flow again.
Fantastic, mate. That's awesome, and absolute music to my ears. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you, and looking forward to continuing working with you. And you know, we're now friends, and it's been absolutely great watching you and having the odd joke and punt with you on the horses. Yeah, mate, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it, and thank you very much for your insights. It's been fantastic, and all the best with you know, the balance of 2020. Let's hope it starts, you know, continues to you know, escalate for us.
Oh, thanks, Ryan. And then for anyone thinking of, you know, getting a coach, you know, have a chat to Ryan. I mean, Anita's been like, you know, no one sees the face of Anita, but you know, there's so much things that you can pick up from her, how structured that your team actually is. And there's Steve on the other side. You know, I mean, you can pick up the phone. I mean, I've got his number. You know, he gives you just complimentary advice. It's no charge. He'll tell you how to do Google or Facebook. So yeah, the team is great. And once you get to know them, you guys really do help. All the added benefits that you get just picking up the phone and getting in touch, yeah, just available. So that's one of the big things I find is good. So thanks very much, and yeah, we'll catch up sometime soon.
My absolute pleasure, mate. That's what we're here for, and yeah, really appreciate the plug. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Ryan. Take care.
Cheers, Hus. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Bye.